coming to get you, Barbara.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Scream Stream on the DJB Productions Network. My name's Matt Sunner. I'm going to be one of your hosts for this great show. If you're liking the content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can get notified whenever we add new content. We've got great shows like the Scream Stream, which we're doing right now, and a lot of other content, a very wide base of entertainment here on the DJB Productions Network. So before we get into it, I'm going to bring in my co-hosts. First off, my good friend and the creator of the DJB Productions Network, the one and only Danny J. Danny, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, gang? Welcome to the DJB Productions Network and the Scream Stream.
This is funny. We love this. We're having so much fun. I said funny. I talk about fun. Anyway, and our other wonderful co-host, the wonderful Stacy Rubel. How you doing?
Doing great.
Raven Riptide. Now here you go. Now this is something I've been meaning to ask you. What's with the Raven Riptide? Because I know you as Stacy, but we only just met. So.
Yeah, it's like my gamer tag. And it's the name of my other channel, Raven and Godroth's Tarantulas, because that's my husband's handle on a lot of games. So our channel for our tarantula videos, by the way, like and subscribe there too. But our tarantula video channel is Raven and Godroth's Tarantulas, and we talk about like care and feeding and rehousing, and we show feeding videos and stuff. So it's like my handle I use across the web. That's
cool.
all. I'm a gamer and I use it. And...
Hey, nothing wrong with that. And hey, obviously you've got some other content you're doing outside of our little channel, and that's great. We'd love you to be able to promote that as well.
Neglected the shit out of that channel. I really need to get back into it.
That's okay. There's a lot of videos on this channel. There's a lot of shows that we do on this channel that
I just stopped. So I have like a ton of videos and then nothing for like the last year.
As soon as two tarantulas ate a person, she's like, all right, I gotta stop filming.
Became a liability.
It's like, you didn't sign the
Anyway, let's go ahead and get in this episode. This is our third episode now.
Yes.
If I'm remembering correctly,
yes,
third episode.
Yes.
So if you're only stumbling across this now, you can go back and check out our previous episodes. We did an episode about the found footage genre.
Yes.
Space horror, sci-fi horror.
Mm-hmm.
However you want to, whatever classification you want to put that in. As I said, and we're having a lot of fun here. We've got a lot of other genres coming up. So again, if this is your first time, then that is what we're doing on this show. We're not talking about specific movies. We're just talking about the actual genres and what we like about it, what we feel makes a good movie in that genre, what makes a bad movie in that genre. And this time we're talking about movies about hauntings.
That's right. It's not episodic. There's no story arcs. So you don't have to worry about, did I watch the last episode and I can't watch this one? No, go ahead and watch any one of them. I would appreciate you watch them from episode 1.
Yeah. This way you can kind of keep it straight which ones you've seen and which ones you haven't.
People tell them they have to watch it. None of this makes sense at all unless you go watch the previous content.
Yeah. None of it makes sense.
None.
Oh,
no,
it's like, anyway, no matter what order you watch,
makes sense. None of this makes sense at all.
I'm not a professional. I just portray one on YouTube. Very badly at that.
We're talking about hauntings, and Stacy's background is like there's somebody in the house. And he's breaking
people
in.
Who know, they'll know.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong way.
I recognize the grudge.
That way.
That way.
Yeah, trying to remember like your camera. I'm always trying to do that too.
Like
when my green screen screws up. It's like wait a minute, which part of the green screen is like flapping it in the wind? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Trust me, this bitch is one of the scariest bitches I have ever seen in a horror movie ever. In a ghost movie. It scared the shit out of me. Promise.
And turns out she's just an extra to get you juice boxes.
What a twist!
Poor girl's got bad acne, and everybody's like, she's so scary.
No, see, she's got
Like,
beautiful
really?
skin. It's beautiful skin,
Really?
not so much nails, but skin. It's very beautiful. It may be pale and cyanotic, but that's okay. We love a good dead girl.
She's got a sexiness about her. Yeah, I get it.
So I guess when we started, I guess Stacy, we'll go to you first. What do you think makes a good haunting movie, or and maybe what makes a not so good haunting movie?
All right. So there's a lot of things that can make a good haunting movie. So there's different kind of haunting movies. You've got like Poltergeist, right? And I
Mhm.
would give that movie like a solid 9 out of 10. And it's
Oh,
not just
definitely.
as a horror movie, it's like the special effects are cool, the storyline's cool, it's funny and it's unique, the characters are quirky, and it's not just scary. It's like it's almost like I want to say a horror fantasy. It's like bizarre, you know. And that isn't necessarily scary, but I would technically put that in like a top, top 5 ghost movie for sure. Like
Oh
among
yeah, the thing that I always thought was cool about Poltergeist was the fact that it's not just, again, like you said, it's not just scary. It really shows a true, like, wonderful, like, family dynamic.
Mhm.
When stuff starts happening, it's just kind of neat and fun and interesting. Like, isn't this
Exactly,
weird?
yeah.
And then it
Gets
starts
scary.
building,
Yeah.
and and you see the lengths that parents will go, to protect their children,
Hmm.
and it's just so it's great writing. It's a very compelling story more than anything else. It's not just scary, it's compelling.
No, that's what I mean. It's a great just story in general, and it's got like these fantastical elements where, like you said, it's neat and funny. But then there's also like the scene where they're watching the ghosts and they see them come down the stairs as like the glowing orbs, and it wasn't scary. It was like ooh wow, it was like a sense of amazement and wonder, and that's what was cool
Yeah.
about the movies. It gave you that, and it gave you scary, and it gave you funny. There was a lot of funny parts too, and
Mhm.
it was just really good all around. So that's a good horror movie. But then you got the really good ones that I think make things creepy, and those are the super scary ones. Also, good plot is necessary, but like this lady right here, this is from a
Mhm.
movie from Japan called Ju-on, and it's one of the only movies that scared the shit out of me. There's like a series of them, and it's very subtle. Like, some of it's kind of like in your face where you like hear this weird, no, I can't even do it, but like this weird noise, and you kind of know something's going to happen, and you don't know what's going on. And there was times in the movie where I've missed things. Like apparently these people are walking up to the house, and I didn't see this until the second time watching it. There's actually a figure on the balcony slowly like moving back into it, like into the house. And then there's this
Oh,
one
that's
time where
cool.
they're walking up these steps, and I didn't catch this first time around. There's this like silhouette that like moves up to this like, the distorted glass. And it was just like they have a lot of subtle shit. They rely on like atmosphere a lot. And I
Mhm.
think a good atmospheric one is very good. The things I don't like in a horror movie are just cheap. Jump scares can be fun, even when they're cheap. But if the whole movie is reliant on just cheap jump scares or scary ghosts chasing you, with like long hair or something, and it's just that, that to me just is a generic horror movie. I mean, like even movies that have like just gore based around them, there's a lot of creativity that goes into that. A lot of makeup, a lot of cool stuff, and a lot of gory movies I don't find boring. They're usually kind of funny and over the top. A lot of
Yeah.
them are campy, which I love. But I think that the being generic and just relying on cheap, not jump scares. Jump scares are fucking great, especially if you do them right. But like the just cheap jump scares, like you're not really trying, you know. I heard a movie that came out that was just like that. I haven't watched it yet. It was
I
Tarot.
think I watched it. It's horrible.
Yeah, I heard it was really fucking bad. I heard it was
But
really fucking
I
bad.
wanted to jump in here because I find that the biggest problem with any horror movie, and this is in general, is it's real estate. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is this: these people, the core of the story is always like, this house has so much character, and what a great price. Fucking jerk off! If you just rented, you wouldn't have any of these issues. at all. Okay,
You just rented, you wouldn't have a
You know
lot
what I
of
mean?
fucking
Because
issues.
If you're ready, like I'm not renewing the lease.
you know what I mean? Like, because my point being is that it's like here, this house behind me here, right? Oh, it has such character and it looks like it's lived so many lifetimes. And what a steal at $45,000. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Listen,
People died in there.
No,
That's
I
exactly
would
what
buy that.
happened.
If you tried to sell me that house for $45K, I would buy it in a fucking heartbeat. That
You
house
know what I
is
mean? But
fucking
like,
lit.
you know, like what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like,
I
no,
know
like
people.
I'm in a row home, right? And I came from a haunted apartment. I did have a haunted apartment. Matt
Yes,
knows
well,
this.
yeah, it
And
was.
I'll talk about this in a little bit, but like the problem is it's fucking real estate. There's always something that the ghosts want to live somewhere, right? And they
Want to live somewhere.
they want to live somewhere, right? And they rather you rent than buy, because if you buy, then you can tell them to get the fuck out. If you rent, you just gotta fucking live. You gotta live together with them in harmony. You know what I mean? Like that's what happened.
Well,
Wired harmony.
it's kind of like, you know, but Eddie Murphy did that one joke about like, you know, like, it's like, this is a great house. Yeah, get out. Too bad we can't stay, baby.
Dude, we're gonna say, you know,
It's gone.
what before I got married, and Matt will remember that because Matt, this is where we started Shit Your Pants Wednesday. Was at my apartment. We lived in an area where back in the day, it was kind of nicknamed Little Dublin because a lot of Irish settlers came to the area and they would get jobs and this is where they settled when they came in, right, to the area. So my wife and I lived in this apartment and it was a steal at $475 a month. It was like so cheap, right? And the landlord was like, I don't care if you have goats up there. As long as you pay the rent, I don't give a shit what you do, right? I'm like, okay, right? Too good to be true, right? So back then I used to use a VCR because we had VCRs back then.
What's a VCR?
And what's a VCR? A video cassette recorder, right? So I was big into my, and even today I watch cartoons all the time, but I was big into my Saturday morning cartoons. So I would set the recorder so it would tape all my shows, for Saturday morning. Then when I would come home from work, I'd sit down, get my dinner or whatever, and I would sit in my lounge chair and I'd watch my cartoons from Saturday, right? And this fucking VCR, because Matt and I used to both work at Circuit City. And I had this great Zenith VCR. And what would happen was I would go in one day and like my shit wasn't recorded. So I started yelling at my wife, like, what the fuck did you do with the VCR? Right? Because it's always got to be her fault.
Rude.
And she's like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. Get the fuck out of here, blah, 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 right? That's the extent of that conversation. So then I started looking at it, right? And I said, well, I set the timer, right? So I go in to try to say, the clock's not blinking. The clock is saying like some kind of weird military time, which the VCR doesn't have the capability of showing military time. So I'm like, wait. So I go into the settings and it says day 50, 2079, and it was some weird time. I said, what the fuck is this, right? And it made me miss like whatever show I was trying to tape it, it was like Jackie Chan's Adventures or some goofy shit, right? And or Men in Black the series, so whatever it was, right? And it happened all the time. Like I fixed it, and it would happen when I'd go to tape my shit on Saturday mornings. So I was like, motherfucker, right? And we had cats, and the cats were around. So at the time, this was before Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi. It was before that. We called a paranormal group out.
Well,
and
actually, let's kind of set this up though. Okay,
yeah,
just real quick. I'll let Dan get back to it.
Yeah.
One of the local radio morning shows used to have it's the Philadelphia Ghost Hunters Alliance.
Yeah.
Come on their shows, whatever. And I kept telling Dan, like, hey, you and the wife, you maybe try calling these guys. And Dan's all like, hey, whatever, it is kind of nonsense, blah, 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 right? And then one day I'm at work and he pages me. This is back when we still use pagers and shit.
What's a
pager?
right?
So,
what's a pager?
So I call
a small device that shows your phone number when you need somebody to call you back right away.
Oh,
he pages me at like 911, right?
911. That's how you got somebody to call you back.
Right? you know, you'd type in your number and do like star 911, and it would.
If you didn't do 911, nobody fucking called you back. So you did it no matter what you want to do.
True, but that's a dick
So I'm like,
move. I never did that.
so Dan
Man,
goes,
call you back. What's the matter? What's the matter? What are you wearing? You want to go out tonight? Like, what's going on?
so I call him up. I'm like, I'm at work. There's no way he's paging me 911 unless there's some sort of issue, right?
I'm in the
So I
store,
call him,
by the way.
and he's like, and he's at the apartment. He's at his
Yeah,
apartment, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what was the name of those people? I'm like, why? And he's like, well, I was just laying in bed. Now their bedroom, like the door opened up and faced this hallway leading to their front door, right, to the apartment.
Yeah.
And he tells me, I was just laying in bed, relaxing here, and I'm facing the doorway.
happened?
The door to the bedroom's open. And he's like, and I suddenly couldn't move.
Yeah.
I felt completely paralyzed, but then I had the sensation that I was moving down the hallway.
Yeah.
And I'm all like,
I was
funny
wide
thing
awake.
is, these people are on the radio station this morning. I'm like, it's the Philadelphia Ghost Hunters Alliance. Call them, and I think they'd redirected them to somebody else because they
South Jersey. We got South Jersey. Yeah.
But okay, I'll let him continue because he's all like doing like, oh, whatever. Because his wife's
that's what I read into it. And I thought it was, but I felt a pressure on my chest, and it went from left to right. I couldn't get up, and then when the pressure finally left, I went like this. So I was fully awake the whole time that this happened, but I was like, fuck, right? And we had our storage down in the basement part, and our dog Mongo would never go down the steps. It didn't matter what was happening. And me and my wife were arguing like we normally do. And I'm like, you fucking bitch, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you fucking dickhead, blah, 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 blah. And back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The center area, which is where the water heater was for the building, right? Which is locked. We don't have access to. Boom, 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 boom. From inside the door, it starts banging like that. I said, Chris, Chris, shut the fuck up and get upstairs right now. Right? I dropped my shit. We stopped arguing. And Christine, my wife, God bless her, is vertically challenged. The bitch does not know how to walk. She falls down all the time. And the amount of time she was tripping, getting up the...
Do not insult her.
The amount of time she was tripping, getting up the steps, and my dog's like, yeah, get the fuck up here. Come on, get the fuck up here. Like, my dog's like, I'm not going down there. Fuck
the dog's like, I done told you. I told you, you stupid ass.
My dog was 18 pounds. I could not fucking move him down the fucking steps, right? So we go up, and I get the South Jersey Ghost Alliance, or whatever the fuck they were, right? So they come out to the house. It's like a bunch of people. Turn all the power off. Not like turn like the power off to the building, but like all the lights are out, blah, blah, blah. Now I have cats in there and stuff like that. So they're following the cats around, and they're getting EVPs, and they go in the basement and stuff like that. So they get 2 EVPs down in the basement, right? Sure enough, with Irish brogues, right? And it was like, because they said, we did some research in your area. They said that this is like, that was nicknamed Little Dublin. And I said, yeah, it is. There's a lot of Irish settlers that came here, and there's a lot of Irish people here now, and like in the immediate area, you know, like right off the boat Irish, like not like just like Irish American, like literally like right off the boat from Ireland.
We're talking like you go into the local Irish bar, and it's top of the morning to you.
Yeah, like that type of shit, right?
Straight up the bush.
And we had these EVPs with Irish brogues. So we're like, oh, that's interesting. It was like, I never did it. Something like that. I don't know what the fuck he was saying. I don't know. Could have killed somebody for all I know. I don't know. So then we go upstairs, and they're watching the cat. The cat's fucking looking around. And they took videos and pictures, and the cat is clawing at a fucking orb. Right? A fucking orb. Like, we can't see it visit with our naked eye, right? Through the photos, the cat's pawing, and it's pawing at an orb at the front door, right? I said, look at this shit, right? Then in our bedroom, this is where I felt really violated. In our bedroom, in the corner, there was a vortex, is how they describe it. I'm using their verbiage, a vortex, and spirits were coming in and out like it was Ellis fucking Island, right? Out of this vortex. And my wife apparently is someone that's has a lot, not clairvoyant, but she has the ability. She's a strong,
psychically sensitive.
She's sensitive, and they're drawn to her, right? So I said, but they're in here when I'm having sex with her and stuff. Like that's kind of fucked up, right? I'm like,
Violated. I'm like, oh my god, did you get fucked by a ghost? You're
right?
like, I'm being watched while I'm fucking my wife.
I'm being watched by a ghost when I'm fucking my wife, right? But then I'm like, well, can they stop fucking with my VCR because I'm missing my Saturday morning cartoons, right? They're like this fucking 28-year-old guy is like, what the fuck's he worried about his cartoons for? But that's what I was worried about. But that was my real life haunting, which was like, so it wasn't like paranormal activity. It was more like paranormal, get the fuck out of my apartment because you're not paying rent and you're messing up my shit, right?
Yeah. But you know, I mean, and I do not have any personal, experiences with it, but I do have some people in my family who have had very close experiences with it. Because we're not going to be swapping ghost stories here. We'll get into some, but this is kind of giving you some basis here because it's kind of why I like haunting movies so much.
Yeah.
Either just a few houses up from my grandmother's house where I grew up. Me and my mom lived there from I was about 2 through the age of like 9 or 10. There was a house up the road that the original owners of the house had converted the attic to an apartment. And there was a woman who rented this apartment, and there was the connecting stairs from the main part of the house up to this attic apartment. Since the owners of the home knew this woman,
Right.
that was still open. So she had the ability to, and they had the ability to move freely between the house and the apartment. And this woman tragically ended up taking her own life at one point. So the owners of the home were like, okay, we're going to keep renting this apartment out. But they took that stairwell and they sealed the door from the inside at the top. And then they sealed it off from, at the main part of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And they started hearing footsteps in that stairwell, going up and down in that stairwell. And it's like whoever's upstairs can't get into it. You have to break the door down. So the only way, if they break the door down, you're going to hear it,
Right.
and nobody from the house is getting in because it's still sealed up down here from inside the main part of the house. Then many years later, one of the tenants they have in the apartment ends up being a girl that my oldest cousin ends up dating. And they'd be in there, and we're talking about, the old school analog radio. You have to turn a dial
What's that?
to. Oh, I know. Geez, these
You go from one
Listen,
intersection to the other.
We're co-hosting with an
listen.
embryo. We're co-hosting with an embryo.
No, I'm literally 40. I grew up with VCRs and I fucking
Yeah, she's
baited
not that. She's not that.
tapes. I just pretend
But
not
yes,
to know.
but yes, for the younger generation who is much younger than us, and we are probably old enough to be close to being your parents or at least a favorite aunt or uncle.
Right.
There were literally, so you'd turn it, and it wasn't even like some of the digital stuff where you turn a dial but it's still a digital tuner. No, you turn it and it physically moves
like this.
it moves a wire conductor along a coil.
Those fucking things great though, because sometimes like I could get radio stations I couldn't get like on the like TV or the car radio, because you could sit there and like
you could really fine tune
it. Yeah.
But like they'd be sitting in the apartment, and all of a sudden, like the radio station changes. It goes from like the local top 40/rock station, and now it moves to the oldie station. There was stuff going on, and I'm trying to remember the name of the woman.
That's not even a digital thing. That requires a physical fucking movement to do.
Like at one point, there was
you can even glitch that out. Like you have
on top of the refrigerator. They had a speaker sitting on top of the refrigerator. At one point, the speaker literally just like flew off of it. It didn't fall off it. It's not. Oh, it slid off
because the ghost couldn't find this fucking song he wanted,
and it flew off there. And I can't remember for the life of me. I can't remember the name of the woman, but like they used to just be like, hey, her name, like knock it off, and like stuff would stop. But yeah, I mean, it's cool because it's the great thing about hauntings, in a haunting movie is none of us know what happens when we die,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really it's like it's you can look at it from like a scientific aspect, where they say
Well, and
energy
that's also why I like the
can be either
subtlety of it.
created or destroyed. It just changes form. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we possess a living energy, however you want to think of it. So what
Yes.
happens when the physical body dies? What happens to that energy? It has to go somewhere.
So it goes to your fucking radio, and when it can't find a song that it wants,
It throws the speaker
Oh,
across.
it throws the
that's
speaker
why
off.
that's why I like that subtle shit in movies. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
you're gonna have like stuff where like something just flies across the room or shit, but it's like the stuff that you experience in real life are like, oh wait, there's this person I didn't see there, or oh wait, I swear to God, I pushed this chair in and now it's all pushed out. Like it's that's actually one of my favorite parts about the Poltergeist movie. Actually, it gives me goosebumps every time, like when they're fixing the chairs and like, oh, watch this, and then they turn around, but then all the chairs are on the fucking table.
Right.
I was like,
Mhm.
Jesus Christ.
I think for me though, like I said, and I made jokes, but like you're going into a house and you're invading some other entity's space, as an
Mhm.
example. And it's always something to do with like, don't go in the living room or don't fucking sit on that chair or whatever the fucking thing is, right? And it's always like this family, and they're fucking naive because once again they bought the house for fucking $15, and they're like, oh, what I could steal, and it's like you would never buy
You
this
don't know
fucking
my
house.
father. He never walks away from equity.
Yeah, right. I
To
know.
quote Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's exactly what it was. It's like Beetlejuice is exactly the fucking parody of any haunting that there could possibly
Uh-huh.
be. It's like, what the fuck are you doing in this house? Stop it, right? So if you were in a condo, ghosts never fucking haunt condos because they can't get their money's worth out of it. It's the truth.
Why not?
You know what I
But
mean?
they can haunt apartments,
They can haunt
obviously.
well, they can haunt my apartment because it was only $475 a month. They could afford to stay there. You know what I mean? That was a problem. You know?
It's all about location and pricing.
Yeah, nobody in New York has a haunted fucking apartment. And it's just too fucking expensive, man. It's like, I'm out of here, dude. You know?
All
But
the
like,
ghosts left New York a long time ago.
it's like, I don't know. It's like, if it's and a haunting can be a couple different things. Like, and we can kind of cross over into different realms, and we'll get into other episodes of this show, of course. But like, when it's not necessarily a ghost, but maybe it's a demon that's haunting a house or some kind of
Insidious.
else. Like at least that's a little bit scarier because you're like, this is some unknown thing
And it's a
that
malevolent. It's a
that's
malevolent.
malevolent,
Mhm.
like beast, or whatever you want to describe it as. And there is no reasoning with it. At least if I fucking say, here, old lady that died, here's your hairbrush back. Like, okay, thank you. I'll go into the light. And that's it, right? We don't have to worry about filling the
Hello?
fucking
Okay.
yeah.
Jesus, you scared the shit out of me, Dave.
He's talking as the fucking Asian
I
chick. I
heard
love that.
knocking, and then I wasn't sure if I heard knocking, and then I looked over, and there was nothing, and then the door
I love it because
slowly
you're
started
looking
creaking open.
you're looking at the fucking Ringu chick, and you're like, what? Excuse me? What?
She does. Oh, by the way, the guy who does this Ju-on movie, they did an American version called The Grudge,
Yes.
but the
Yes.
same guy who does this did The Ring and Ring You.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I was
his
about to
shit's
say though,
good. His shit's
I was
good.
like, I was about to say, Stace, when
Oh.
I'm doing my monologue, don't do a shtick. I was like, no, but like, I was just like, it was just like, what a, I don't know. It's the same story over and over and over and over again. So I tend to want to look for because like you said, Poltergeist, I think, was the be all end all. Not even really a scary movie because it was Spielberg. So you're talking about like the same childlike wonder of E.T. was in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
and
when I
and
was,
agree.
that's why I think even
yeah,
too, you think when you talk about movies that deal with hauntings, Poltergeist is always there, and why it has lasted, and
yeah,
why it is considered a classic movie, is because it so perfectly blended that, I'm curious as to what the hell is going on here. But
Yes.
there's still some seriously scary shit happening. I mean, you
Yes.
watch a guy, basically peel his face off. You
Right.
know, you see a giant, skull creature, come out of a closet.
Bro,
And then
that thing
you
was the
see
best.
this giant, four-legged. It's like this weird beast thing. It
And then
feels
in part 2, you get that Jehovah Witness guy, and he's like, "Take the pamphlet, you're gonna die."
Yeah. And then you get the great scene at the end with the damn swimming pool with these skeletons coming up out of the
Yeah.
damn ground, which were all real skeletons, by the way, for anybody who doesn't
Mm-hmm.
know already
Yes, they
know this.
were.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were real skeletons pulled from used from a medical college.
Yes.
So they weren't screwing around. And from what I heard, the actress that played the mother, when she found that out, was not real
Yeah, I was
fucking
gonna say when
thrilled.
they filmed that scene, she didn't know. She found out
Yeah,
afterwards. Yeah.
yeah. She
Which
was
makes it
not
for
real
great
thrilled
method
about
acting.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Funny thing you should mention Poltergeist 2 and the creepy preacher, Damien, our buddy. When I
Yes.
wore this exact dress, right? I have a very similar hat to his, and I wore it
Yes.
to work. And he's like, "You look like that creepy preacher guy from Poltergeist or whatever the hell that movie was." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yes.
But yeah,
There you go.
anyway, that's all.
You're gonna
I thought that was funny.
die.
But see, the thing that I really like too about a haunting is
Take
the
my
fact
pamphlet.
you can even do a story. You can even do a story of a haunting that is
Yeah.
a relatively, I'd say, there's no malevolence, there's no whatever, it's more of, a spirit that is trying to communicate something from beyond, and it's trying to resolve and the perfect one for this. And if you haven't seen it,
I hope you're
you
thinking of
have
the
to
one that
see
I
it.
am.
The Changeling.
Oh no, I
I
haven't seen
watched it.
that.
I was so let down by that movie.
I was gonna
I
say The Orphanage. It's by Guillermo del Toro. Have you guys seen that
Okay,
one?
I have
Good.
not
No, I
seen
don't
that
think so.
one.
No, I
But
don't
see,
think so.
I liked the Changing because there was a lot of stuff in there that it wasn't necessarily scary per se,
Right.
but it was creepy shit. There's this scene, and I don't want to give too much away for if there's people who are watching this episode and have not seen it
Yeah, I
before.
want to watch
But
that.
there's
I haven't
this
seen that.
scene with like this like red rubber ball that keeps showing
Yeah.
up, whatever. And
Right.
he ends up taking this thing, and they're kind of investigating stuff going, and he throws this thing away, and way far away from the house. I think he actually chucks it even actually in to a body of wood or whatever. He comes back to the house, walks in the house, turns around, locks the door, turns around, and there's that damn red rubber ball bouncing down the fucking stairs. And you're just I'm giving
I got
myself goosebumps
goosebumps.
just
I
talking
know. I was
about
gonna
it.
say I
And it's
haven't
just
seen it.
like,
You're telling me. I'm
and
like,
it's one of these things
I
where
got
it's like you're like,
goosebumps.
oh shit. And when as you go through the movie, you find out that it's not something that's meaning any of the characters any harm. There was it's a scene, it's this ghost that basically has some unfinished business. It's trying to find peace, and it follows the story. But it was great because even though it wasn't something, you don't know that as the story's going on, you slowly find out, and as these people you're finding stuff out at the same speed they are in the movie. And it's
Right.
just like creepy shit where it's like, I know, like, if I had that happen to me, forget it. It's like I'm throwing away those clothes because there's no way I'm getting the soilage out of it.
Right.
Yeah, there
It's
was
just
another really good movie like
no.
that. Like I said, The Orphanage was it was kind of about unfinished business. I'll give away the general plot. So this woman and her family live in this big old schoolhouse that used to be
Of
an
course they do.
orphanage. It's very
Yeah.
old, right? Whatever. They live there. It's fine. Nothing weird or creepy happens. And then the girl's son goes missing. And he used to wear this, like little mask and shit around the house. And he would be it was like a creepy bag mask with like holes cut in it. But she's like chasing him around and shit. Oh, is that the way it goes? Yeah. So he goes missing and she's looking for him this whole time. And then there's these like creepy kids and this weird, creepy imagery. And it gets really, really kind of like almost scary. And then it's so sad because it turns out this woman, while she was renovating her house, accidentally locked her son in the crawl space basement and didn't know. and nobody checked there because nobody had been in there because it was sealed up shortly after, like before they realized he was gone or some shit like that. But it was never checked, and it come to realize all this banging and shit that she kept hearing at first was her son banging in the closet trying to like get her attention, and all these orphanage ghosts are actually trying to guide her to the same place. She thought it was scary, and then she finally realizes, oh, they're trying to tell me something, and then she finds her son dead in the basement.
It almost sounds like the Black Phone.
It was so sad, but it was so good because it was really scary.
Was this from like 2007?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Like, so it was around then.
Now,
yeah.
Okay.
For me,
because I looked it up because I want to, you know, when we do these shows or when we're talking, I like to kind of look stuff up so I can have it kind of in my thing. So, you know, so otherwise we do this episode and, you know, 2 hours from now, we'll be like, what the heck was that?
We should have said that. Yeah.
What the heck?
For
was
me,
that
though,
movie
I think
that
the
was suggested to me?
definitive haunting for me is The Entity, which was
My
based
mom
on
made
true
me
story.
watch that movie because she's like, this is scary. It's based on a true story. My mom made me watch it in like 1992, by the way, when I was like 10 or however old I was. But anyway, fuck.
Oh, that'll
Go
scar
ahead.
you for life.
Yeah.
It was such a great movie.
Creepy.
It was such a great movie. It was the third or fourth installment of Shit Your Pants Wednesday at our house, at the apartment. But such a phenomenal, scary movie because it was not a haunting of the house; it was a haunting of the person.
Yeah.
And
it followed her.
It followed her, and we were like, "Wow, this is crazy
Yeah, that's
scary."
what poltergeists do. They attach themselves to people, but so do demons.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for them.
Yeah. Well, this was in the story is it's the ghost of her abusive ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would take his time beating her from time to time as a ghost. He would rape her as a ghost. And it was like the new husband had to sit there and watch her endure this. And there was nothing he could physically do to help her and stuff like that. And there's this one scene where she's being raped and he could see like her body being squeezed, but there's nobody there. And he doesn't know what to do. So he takes a chair to try and get this thing off his wife and just breaks the chair over his wife's fucking face and chest and all because there's nothing there, right? It's a ghost, but he didn't know what to do, you know? And just such a crazy, intense movie was The Entity. And
I thought she was so safe. And this is like, because I think I've only seen it once, but it was when she showed it to me. And the one scene that really, well, there was a couple that stuck in my head. The one was what you're talking about, but also like I thought she was safe when she left the fucking house.
Oh,
and then she's driving her car, and then all of a sudden
Yes.
the accelerate, and then she loses all control. I'm like, Jesus, she's not even fucking safe outside the goddamn house.
No.
Like, dude, I don't like
And then at the end of the movie, you think it's done, and he tells her to get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the verbiage come up that even to this day she still has episodes and blah blah blah. You're like, oh wow, how fucking scary this shit was. But such a scary movie because it was real. You know what I mean? It was like it was really happening, and it was something that wasn't tied to a house that you could just say, oh, just fucking move out.
Mm-hmm.
This poor girl couldn't run from this. You know what I mean? In that sense, and I thought that really nailed it home for. I mean, anything that's a true story that's scary nails it for me.
Yeah.
When it comes
there
to,
is the
hauntings.
series on Amazon. Hold on.
But you know,
they came out with a bunch of movies. His name is Steve Shippey. All right. He's a rapper. But he has like a series of movies that came out of him ghost hunting on Amazon, and they're like they're probably the most legit ones I've ever seen, and it's some of the scariest shit because there's not something happening all the fucking time.
right?
You know what I mean? But
Right.
that means when something does happen, like there's this like
Mhm.
fucking figure going across here, or there's shit that gets moved, then you're like, whole fucking shit. You know, and that's some of the best shit. I do highly recommend it. It's not movies, but they are paranormal investigations, and they're very long based because their investigations go on for like several months, and they compile it into like a 2-hour movie.
Right.
Well, that's cool because I like that because unfortunately, we got this proliferation of paranormal investigation shows that I think when they first started coming out, you had Taps.
Yeah, Ghost
that was
Hunters, which was Taps.
Ghost
Yeah.
Hunters.
And
Yeah, the show was
they
Ghost
got
Hunters.
caught so bad faking shit though.
Well, in the beginning, and I think,
Like at the
unfortunately,
beginning, yes. I'm talking about
in the
like
very
later on down the
beginning,
line.
I love the
Yeah,
fact that they
you
went
know what
out
though?
there and they never would say like yes or no. It was literally they had evidence and something happened, and they would always try and figure out, can we recreate this? What could this have possibly? Could there be a logical explanation that is not paranormal?
Right.
And then, based on the success of that, next thing you know, you're seeing this paranormal investigation and this one,
Mhm.
and there's so many ones I've seen where it's like you're watching it and it's like you guys aren't seeing shit. You're just scaring the crap out of yourselves,
Right.
or you're faking it. And I think, unfortunately, towards the end of Ghost Hunters, I was kind of starting to see some of the same stuff. But again, you're trying to stay relevant. You're trying to keep
Right.
your ratings up, so you
But
have
you
your
know what, though?
show, and it's like you have to
There's
keep
only
pushing it
so
to the
much.
Ghost
thing.
Adventures, I know they scare the shit out of themselves in Ghost Adventures, but the one thing I'll give them is when they talk to anybody who left the show or anything like that, they never had anything come out ever that they were like fabricating anything, like when they're like, oh, the temperature changed or the EMF changed. They weren't caught fabricating that, but they did say Zach Bagans does get freaked out very easily, which I don't care as long as he's being honest. Freak out all you want. I think it's fucking funny when he's dude throwing his freak outs. I think it's funny as shit. But Steven Shippey is very good. Like I said, it's not like an overnight thing like with all these other people. It's a several month investigation, and then they compile it into a full length fucking movie because it's several months.
I forget
and I
the name
love
of the show.
that. It's so good.
I forget the name of the show, but what it is, it's celebrities that are haunted. It's on like TLC or one of those things. And what it is, it'll be like they had like one of the sexiest women in the world, Gina Gershon, talked about being haunted in her apartment, right? Talked about being haunted in her apartment. And then these other, and there would be other stars, like movie stars or athletes, that would come on and talk about a haunting that happened to them. And that's kind of a cool thing, because now you're talking about quasi, this is real, at least this is a real account. I don't know if this person's lying or not, but now we're not talking about a fabrication. We're talking about, wow, this really happened. And that person's
this
pretty
was my
famous,
experience, and I couldn't explain what it was and how it was going on. Yeah.
But the one movie in this genre that doesn't really get a lot of play, isn't talked about a lot, but was a decent movie, and it was a neat twist. I want to say it was called The Others, and it was
Nicole Kidman.
with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And
that movie would have been so much better, but somebody fucking told me the ending to be an asshole on purpose. Told me the ending before I watched the movie, so it fucking ruined it. But it would have been a great twist.
I guess because of how it's not really talked about a lot, I'll try not to give you the twist, but watch the others, and just figure out. And what you're getting is a perceptive view of a haunting, and see if you can figure it out, and see if you just follow along with it. Such an interesting concept. I don't want to say scary. I want to say spooky. Eerie. Eerie's a great adjective for that. But it was one of those things where you're like, oh wow, they went here with this. They did this, they did that with it. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. So in that sense, it was out of the haunting norm.
It was very out of the haunting norm, but it was also very haunting traditional too.
Yes, it was
a very good movie.
It is.
And here's another good one and it's again more of a modern one that I thought was really good because if anything, not just because it was a great haunting movie, but it was just a great horror movie, period. Because it's been a long time for me that I've ever watched a horror movie that has either one or more moments other than like a jump scare.
Right.
Which, my kid can jump scare me if I'm not paying attention to what's going on, and he'll just kind of, it's like shit, what the, whatever, but I mean, a real legitimate, you're watching the movie, something happens, and you are like, but the Woman in Black, the first Woman in
okay.
Black movie,
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah,
and
with
the
Henny
second one was not
Polka.
too bad. But like I remember watching and the great thing that the Woman in Black did was it set up scenes where you were expecting something to happen,
Right.
and it didn't, and all of a sudden it looks like you're getting to a point where you're going like, oh, okay, they're not hitting me with what I'm expecting to happen. And as soon as you kind of figure like this ain't going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
it happens. They kind of screwed with the timing. Like there's like you're looking up at a window and you're sitting there's nothing there, and it kind of lingers on it, and right before the scene changes, all of a sudden it's like boom, there it is. You kind of like you think you got away from it, and then boom, it's there. But I still remember the one scene, and it's been a while since I've watched it, but I still remember like when he's, and I don't want to ruin too much stuff if some people haven't seen it, but like he's in this room and he's done something that he figures is going to satiate the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, okay, this is what this ghost wants me to do, and he's so totally wrong. But it's like you suddenly see this figure, and I mean, it's like in the corner room, and like just kind of kind of comes up in the screen. I remember sitting in that movie theater
Yeah.
and in that chair going like, oh crap, and it was great too because it was followed by this great moment of levity because there's these people sitting in a row right in front of us. Me and my wife were watching it, and this girl screams to the point where it was like that made it even scarier. But then all of a sudden, like right after, she's like, and I don't know exactly if she said I just or I almost, but literally it was either I just or I almost peed my pants.
Yeah.
And the ways that I kept thinking is like, I think she peed a little bit in her pants. And like, and but it was
Green
great
does
because
that
it was one of those
too.
scenes where it's like, it'd been so long since I've been at a horror movie
Mm-hmm.
and was legitimately had a part where I was legitimately in that moment, like, holy shit, that scared the bejesus out of me.
Right.
And
In
that
The
was one of
Ring,
them.
I had that same kind of situation. It was that same thing where you thought you wanted the spirit to do something, and she's like, oh, I went to the well and I found her and I did all these wonderful things. And then her son fucking looks at her dead in the face. Why did you do that? You shouldn't have let her out. And I'm like, holy shit. And I got goosebumps. And then it cuts to the fucking end scene, the famous one where they're coming out of the TV. I'm like, what?
Now, another movie I want to bring
But of
up,
course,
'cause it-
but of course, then too, though the whole moral of the story of The Ring was don't break a chain letter.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it is.
know.
Don't fucking ever
which
do it.
I thought was kind of
Do those
cool,
still
but it was kind of
exist?
shitty.
At the same time, it's like, all right, just whatever.
No, so all I
But
gotta do is
like,
make a copy of it and hand it off for some other idiot to freaking
Be
watch.
Kind, Rewind is what it was telling you to do.
Kind of
Hope this
You
other
know,
person makes a copy of it and passes it along, so they don't end up
going
like,
back
oh,
to VCRs, for a second. Yeah, but no,
What's a
another movie.
VCR?
What's the VCR?
What's a VCR?
But another movie I want to bring up though, because it's a haunting, but not in a scary sense, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's the movie Always with Richard Dreyfuss.
oh yeah.
And it's a remake. It's a it is a remake from a
That
1950s
sounds like it's fucking
movie.
bad. Is that gonna be like Ghost with Patrick Swayze, where it's gonna make
It's
me like honestly cry?
Yeah. In a
I
way,
love
I don't
honestly
think
cry ghosts.
I would
Makes me
say
feel things. I don't like
I would
that.
I would say yeah. I guess it would be equal to Ghost in the sense of
Oh,
what you
I'd
get
say
out
it's
of it.
better, but it's better,
It is better. It's a better story.
much better.
What you have is a guy who's has this wonderful girl, and he's like a firefighter pilot. And what he does, he drops the napalm or whatever it is
the
he's a
over
he works
forest fires.
yeah. So
He,
he's
and
a
he
pilot that dumps the water
oh,
and
the
other
fire
on firefighters.
extinguishing
the
like
fire
foam
extinguisher
and water.
agent,
Yeah,
right?
gotcha.
And he has this girlfriend who he's with her forever, and she's a firefighter,
Holly Hunter.
and Holly Hunter, who's like cute as fuck in this movie.
Oh, I love
And-
she
Holly
was such an
Hunter.
underrated hottie.
I loved
She
her
is.
Raising Arizona. But anyway, go ahead.
And she so he's with her, and like it's one of those things where there's such a Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell type of vibe, where like
Like
they don't need
Overboard.
no, not like Overboard. Like in real life, I'm talking about. Like they don't
Oh.
need a label per se. They're just good together. but she wants to go to the next level. And it's like he kind of does, but he kind of likes things the way they are. And it's one of those things where they just don't communicate well, in a sense, but they have this love for each other. And his character goes down and he dies. And so now his ghost is dealing with an angel that's trying to help him move on and cross
Played
over.
by the wonderful Katharine Hepburn.
Katharine Hepburn, yeah.
Oh.
And she goes through, and what he ends up doing, he ends up as a ghost training his replacement, in a sense. And
It kind of becomes his conscience, his little, like, his inner voice.
Yeah, it's like
him.
he's like his Jiminy Cricket, in a sense. And the guy
His
ends up getting with Holly Hunter. Like, because I think he starts exhibiting a lot of traits that Richard Dreyfuss is like kind of like posing on him as his conscious. So she gets drawn to this guy, but now Richard Dreyfuss as a ghost is like jealous, and he's like, I don't want this to happen, but he has to learn to let go. And it's such a beautiful movie. It's beautifully written.
Great
that
scene
sounds fucking depressing as shit.
Holly Hunter's really talking with this other guy, and I can't remember the name of the actor who played. I think he was actually even
who plays the guy.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
I don't think it's that guy. I know you're talking about.
I can IMDb him, but I'm not going to worry about doing that right now.
I don't think it's him. I know exactly who you're talking about.
But he kind of reminds me that, like, Rick
guy was in
Rossovich,
Terminator.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
he
was in Terminator.
He reminds
that guy
me of him, but it's not him.
A big goofy guy. It might have been.
But either way, it's like there's this one scene where, like, he's hanging over at Holly Hunter's, place or whatever, and Brad Johnson.
Okay.
But he's there or whatever, and Richard Dreyfuss hang out, and he's all like, okay, whatever, and like he walks out the door, and his ghost kind of walks behind Holly Hunter, because she's like looking all like happy, kind of like, oh, maybe hey, there's something maybe starting here, and he kind of whispers in her ear, you're still my girl,
Yeah.
Of like we're not suddenly, and she's like, and she goes from like this kind of this happy, like, hey, man, it's coming, and it's like, you're still my girl, and it's kind of like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
She starts doubting herself, because now
maybe it's too soon.
He's like being her conscious, in a sense. And it was like really interesting. But my favorite scene in the movie, because it does such foreshadowing, like, and understand, education wise, I was in film production, writing, etc. So this is like where I geek out and stuff like that. But it's her birthday. And in order to do something great for her birthday, he buys her this gorgeous white dress. And like, because she's like one of the guys, so they all treat her like a guy.
Yeah,
she's like a tomboy. So she just wants to be a beautiful woman, right? So he buys her this dress, and all the firefighters, who are all dirty from ash and shit like that, because they're fighting forest fires and shit, right? They have a band playing her favorite song, which is "Smoke Gets in Your Eyes," and they're all taking turns dancing with her. And she does this move where she gets spun around, and she goes like this and puts her hands up. And Richard Dreyfuss, this is before he dies, he's in front of a plain glass window, and the sun's shining in from the window, and it's just illuminating him like an angel. And it's such great foreshadowing. And it's like, for me, it was like such a strong scene. And obviously, what's going to happen, just based on that. But like, such a strong scene. You're like, oh my God, this was done so beautifully. Like, it's if you're going to see a movie about a ghost, forget about Patrick Swayze. Pick up this movie always. And
I'm sorry, Daniel. I will have to say, this sounds like a movie that I'm going to watch one fucking time, like The Notebook, because I'm going to fucking cry, and then it's going to hurt my feelings, and I'm going to
never watch The Notebook. No, I never watched The Notebook. I watched
it one time, and it was way after it came out, and it was good. But I'm not even into that kind of movie. It was really good, and then it made me fucking cry at the end, and I was like, "Oh my God, this fucking hurt."
I got the internet version, which was Post-it notes, which was much better.
Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes was much better. It was done in 3 seconds. You know, but
you know, but that is and I think I may have mentioned it earlier here in the show, but it's one of the really cool things when you're dealing with a movie that has to do with a haunting, because I mean, obviously we've talked mostly about the horror aspects of it, and, and then as Dan said, brings in a wonderful story that it's this romantic love story.
Yes,
but it's a haunting and
from
done so
beyond the
much better
grave.
and again, as I said, much better than Ghost. But it's, since you don't know, we none of us have an this grasp of exactly what happens to us when we die.
Yes.
That haunting movies give the anybody who's writing the script, so the writers, the producers, the directors, everybody, it gives you so many different directions you can go in. We'll at some point be talking about creatures, monsters, we've already talked about found footage stuff, which can cover multiple things within, but just a style of found footage. But we talked about sci-fi horror, which again is it's usually some type of an alien or a creature involved in that. I say at least 90% of the time. But there's only so many
just
places you
some
can
weird
go.
mind fuckery,
When we talk about like, a vampire movie. Vampire lore is set pretty much as you. Not a whole lot of different stuff you can do from a vampire aspect, other than tell a really cool, compelling story. As far as what you're doing with a vampire, and
I've got a
you're gonna have
list
good
of good
effects
vampire
and
movies that are
makeup. Same thing with werewolves. It's like Dan's favorite movie genre.
Werewolf,
movies.
werewolves.
Can
Yeah,
I
werewolf.
just say, and I know we're going to
really
cover this at
changed.
some point. I recently watched Ginger Snaps. Now I've been seeing this. It's been recommended to me for fucking years. I never watched it, right?
Yeah.
But I love the I can't remember the actress's name, but I really like her. She plays Ginger in the original. But I watched the first 2 of them the other day, and I was like, all right, so the first Ginger Snaps is actually a fucking amazing werewolf movie, and then the fucking sequel was just as good because it was different.
Yes.
And it had a whole different feel, but it was just as fucking good. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I was like, why didn't I watch these back in the day when they were released? I was like, oh, I want to watch this, but never did. And then I finally did.
And we will talk about them on the werewolves episode.
And we will.
We
will. I'm not going into details. I'm just saying.
As my thought
foreshadowing
with it is that ghost stories and hauntings, there's really no rules. There's no rules whatsoever. And they can be done so much differently from one to the next, and it's really just a matter of, do you have somebody again who wrote this that has a decent enough imagination that can give me a compelling story and go from there. And you don't necessarily have to deal again with makeup or anything else. I mean, you just start dealing with, how can I have something that I can't see interact with the physical world that's there, and leave so much of it to your imagination, which is great, because as everybody will tell you, it's your imagination can take you, and you can imagine something so much more horrible than what somebody might be able to show you on screen, which is why when we talk about stuff being adapted from a book to a movie, why the book ends up being better is because you describe a certain thing, but in what you omit, your imagination takes you to a spot that just...
Real quick, when you're in your own house, right, and you're starting to experience a haunting, why would you fucking walk real slow in your house like you have no idea where the fuck you're going? I fucking hate that in movies.
I get that. No, I feel like that's the same concept as when I'm driving and I'm trying to pay attention to where I'm going, I'll turn down the volume, even though the volume has no bearing on my attention.
But you have
my ability to see. But I think it's like that kind of thing where you're kind of like walking slow to enhance other.
But you have ADHD. There's a reason why you do that.
Well, yeah, I do that all the time because I do have ADHD.
These people don't have ADHD. They're like, there's something spooky up there. What's going on? And they real slowly open the fucking door. You paid a mortgage. Get the fuck out, ghost. Unless I see a ghostly fucking sack of money.
For me, if I'm here,
towards a noise, I can tell you that.
I can tell you
I
right
wouldn't
now,
be going anywhere near it at all.
You know, it's I always it's one of these things where you'll sometimes see this, especially on social media, like on Facebook. You'd be like, "Oh, you see this in your house or whatever. What's the first thing you do?" And
Fucking move.
any kind of political thing. Dan knows I'm a gun owner, right? And so my first thing is empty. My first response is empty a mag, empty the mag. It can't hurt. But it's like if I am hearing stuff go bump in the night in my house, the first thing I'm doing is I'm.
But you know what though? Let me tell you something.
But again, if I run into a ghost, guess what? One of two things is going to happen. It's going to sit there and say, "I got no problem with you," and I'm
a ghost is very limited.
Or it's going to be something that's going to rip my face off. And
a ghost is very limited as to what they could do. The most powerful ghost, the most he could do is tie your shoelaces together and make you trip when you go to walk away. That's about it, dude.
Apparently, they can rape you and beat you if they're an abusive ex-ghost.
But that's,
you know what? If you're not getting, if you're not getting any,
there's so many depictions and stuff that people with firsthand accounts, things being physically, like I said, you and Christine are down in the storage area, and there's something physically banging. So here's something that has no physical body, but it somehow was able to go bam, 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 bam on a solid wall. They usually tell
you. I would have left. The moment you said you heard that banging, my ass would have been fucking. I wouldn't call it no paranormal group. I'd been like, we are fucking moving. We're staying somewhere else.
No, Stacy, not for $475 a month. No, we were staying right where
I'm
we were
burning this place down. It doesn't belong.
Dude,
I'm
burning
it down.
I actually even said out loud, I said, if there is a ghost here, please just leave me some money. And stop fucking with my VCR. That's all I ask you. You could stay all you want.
Stop fucking with my cartoons.
Fuck with the cats. Fuck with the cats. Don't bother my dog and leave my VCR alone. That's all I care about. You know what I mean?
I don't care, man. My ass would have been.
I didn't even mention my wife. You know what I mean? I was just like my dog and my VCR. That was it.
I have haunting stories where I didn't have an option because I was a teenager living with my parents.
Yes.
And I also found out about some of this stuff a little later.
Yeah.
But that's something we're going to go into another time as we discuss. But yeah, no.
Craziness.
No. I would have been left. I'm like,
guys, what a great episode this was.
Yes, I think so.
I love it. So we have some great movies out there to see. You want to see, if you haven't already seen it, see The Entity, see The Orphanage, see Always. I'm telling you, see Always. What a beautiful movie this was.
Yeah, if you guys want to fucking cry.
I just want to cry, dude. Just watch Always.
It's one of those romantic movies. I'm a dude, but I freaking love that movie. Man,
I do. I love that movie.
Right? He's such an amazing actor.
Amazing actor. He's an amazing actor.
Oh my god! Another movie he was in, Mr. Holland's Opus. That guy is just amazing and everything.
But like, see that you can see The Conjuring. There are always some good movies. The Conjurings are like, there's a Conjuring series that's coming out.
I actually like the first two. I didn't really care for the rest, but the first two were really good. They were really good.
The one that was in the UK was like, that was a pretty decent story, where they go over to the UK, the Warrens, and they the guy's dead, but he sits in his chair the whole time. Like, he's not really imposing. He's not imposing at all. He's like this fat old dead guy.
I'm trying to think.
It was the second one.
Was the second one?
Yeah. The first one was the girl. There was the ugly girl that was in her basement. They were doing that, like that shit. And then there was the one. Then there was they go across to like Ireland.
Yeah, that's right, because her kid stays at the house and has like a whole situation happen. Right. I remember.
It turns out it's like Grandpa Joe, and he's fucking just like, get out of my show. I'm watching the telly. Blah blah blah. Like I can't take British ghosts like seriously. It's like, stop. You're too fucking polite. Boo, I say. Fuck you.
Boo, I say.
And then it just goes on from there. But The Conjuring, there's a Conjuring series that's coming out, so that should be pretty interesting to check that out.
Like a TV fucking series?
Yeah, like for I don't know if it's for Amazon or for
hope it just
Netflix.
Does not go like crazy batshit, because the Warrens actually had a lot of really cool cases.
I will tell you this though.
Definitely cover, and I think it would be really neat if they didn't like embellish, because a lot of their stuff unembellished is really good storytelling. Like, I love hearing the Warren stories. Like, before The Conjuring came out, I was very familiar with who the Warrens were as demonologists, so I was very happy.
But definitely check that stuff out. And obviously, leave us some comments down below. If there's anything we haven't talked about, any movie or series that we haven't talked about, leave it down below. Let us know. We'll if it's something cool that we can get a lot of content out of it, we'll make a show out of it by all means and give you credit for it.
Because that's what we're looking at. Mainly we're talking about genres, but eventually we're going to run out of genres, and we're going to
run out of shit to say, and then we're just going to talk about.
Tell you right now, there are
getting into
the
real nitty gritty.
And then I'm going to be haunted. I'm going to be haunted by Stacy's wardrobe.
Oh
my goodness, guys! Let me tell you something. It's the Scream Stream. It's right here on the DJB Productions Network. Yep. Notification bell, please hit it. So this way you know when we put these out. We put these out about once a month, so it's not it's not like inundating or anything like that. Just fucking press the notification bell and shut up and just let it do. And do us better. Like the videos. It does help us on the search engines. It does help us on YouTube itself.
I'm the algorithm. We need algorithm assistance.
Share it. Yeah, share it, please. I'm talking like an old man. I'm like the this and the that.
The Google.
Even if
put it on the Google, put it on the Facebook.
Put it on the Google.
even if you don't like what we're doing, somebody who does. Forward it to them. Share it with them.
But you know what? If you don't like what we're doing and you're watching it, well, you do like what we're doing. So fuck you.
Exactly.
Stop lying. And share the goddamn video.
Share it. Share it.
Share the goddamn video. We got a lot of great stuff coming up on the Scream Stream. We're not running out of content yet. We have a lot of we have a lot of episodes. I got news for you. This is one show that I produced out of the fucking 15 shows I produce on this fucking channel. This show is probably in pre-production the best one I deal with because we legit have a year and a half worth of shit ready to go, which is fantastic.
It's matter of record.
Yeah.
Yep. But check it out. Raven Simone, whatever the hell you call yourself. What is your channel again? What is your channel? That's so Raven.
It's Raven and God Rots Tarantulas on YouTube for tarantula feeding and interesting.
How do they find you though? Because that's like a name. I'm not even remembering the name. I just called you Raven Simone. What the fuck is the name of the channel?
That name is Raven and God Rots Tarantulas. It's mine and Dave's
God Rocks
gaming name. Yeah, God Roth.
God Rock.
That's Dave's fucking
like Striper? Like the band Striper?
I don't fucking know. I'll ask him.
Always there for you.
I just know he's God Roth. I'm Raven Riptide because I thought it sounded cool in a game because it's
Raven Riptide.
Yeah, I was making
I'll tell you now. If there's any, real quick, if there's any bands out there, not that this has anything to do with any Scream Stream, if there's any bands out there that don't have a name yet, the name you want to use is Upswing Jesus.
Upswing.
I think I thought of that name one day and I'm like, I wish I fucking played something and sang.
Or Venus and the Testicles.
My band would be Upswing Jesus. I swear to God, what a great name. And then if you go to Mexico, you're like Upswing Jesus.
Jesus.
I mean, it's like it's bilingual. It's a fucking great band name. Just fucking use it. Go ahead. Just watch my shit.
Just send me tickets.
Just send me tickets. Give me a T-shirt. I won't even. I'm not going to come out of it. I'm not going to come out of any show. Just send me a T-shirt though. I will wear your shit. I promise you, I will wear your shit. My wife hates it because that's all I do is buy clothes and I don't throw anything out. So I want to be haunted by like a clothing liner.
Haunted by clothing liner.
You know. But like, guys,
where my new spring line? From 40 to go. My old
guys. Stupid. Just go down, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Go see God Rocks and Raven Simone on their fucking God channel Rocks. Is it God Rock? Is that what it is? God Rock or God Rocks?
It's like GODROTH. It's Raven and God Roth. Like
Roth?
We will like Eli Roth.
Oh, Roth, not Rock. I thought he rocks.
No, God Roth.
It's God Roth.
What we'll do is we'll put a link in the description.
What does this have to do with tarantulas?
I don't know. It's just a name. It's my name. We put it in there. It's gaming names. We put our gaming names.
Balloons and airplanes. It's about my tarantulas. You know, it's like, I don't understand what the fuck you're doing.
Lord. Oh,
why do I have you on my shows?
Because I'm fun.
Exactly.
You are fun.
Exactly.
You are fun. Go see Raven. What is it? Raven Riptide. Rayven. It's spelled phonetically, so this way you can't fucking do it.
It is.
And a Riptide. Is that R? I can't. I have my glasses on. I can't say.
It's
R-I-P.
So like
T-I-D-E.
tides that will
Like the
suck
old-
you
like the
out
old
into the
TV
ocean.
Like the old TV show Riptide. It was on right after the A-Team.
Yes.
Now I gotta fucking make another show so we can talk about that. Now, I never can fucking stop. I'm haunted by this channel. Can I tell you? I'm haunted by this channel.
Haunted. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Random comp on a single show creates a whole new series.
Whole new series.
Whole new series.
I can't keep up with the fucking shit I'm producing now, and I'm putting out like 3 more new shows a week, and I'm like, I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this.
Neither do we.
Matt, and speaking of dead people and haunting, Matt is in the will. Matt's not getting any money. Matt's not getting any cars. Matt gets the fucking network. That's what he gets, and he has the fucking under the condition he has to put out a new fucking show at least once a month. So now he's like, I gotta fucking.
If I don't, it's gonna haunt me. Motherfucker, you didn't put out any
show.
He's like, at least I can get something paid. Matt's like, I got a volunteer job. I don't get paid for any of this shit to put shows out.
And Dan and I are the same age, so he'll be haunting me.
Oh yeah. It's like,
put out any new content, and I'll be like, I got no batteries for my wheelchair. I can't fit it in the
I was real quick, and we gotta get out of this show. I was watching Royal Crackers last night, and the 2 old men, they're in wheelchairs. The one guy can't even speak. He has like a fucking computer speaking. Hello, my friend. Blah blah blah. He's like this, and the guy he says something that pisses
like
the other guy off. Yeah, and the other guy comes out of his coma because whatever he said pissed him off, and he lunges at him and chokes him to death, and then he dies. And that's what's gonna be me and Matt. Just like fucking, I don't know, sad. I'm gonna be haunted by this channel. I'm telling you, guys. Subscribe. In case you didn't hear me before, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave us some comments down below. Please share this episode. Please share the channel. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get over to all my subscribers are organic. I'm not paying for any subscribers, at least not yet. Not because
he's lying. He paid he paid for all 10 subscribers.
Yo, if I paid for the amount of subscribers I had, what a jerk off I am because I got ripped off. Right?
I want my fucking money back.
I want my money back. I paid more money than I got subscribers. But I'm trying to at least get over a fucking 1,000. There's people that do nothing and have 8 million fucking subscribers. Can you please help me out and subscribe to the channel, please? I'm putting all this content out for you, not for myself, because I'm going to give my fucking self an ulcer. And Matt's going to inherit the ulcers because he's the one that gets it after me.
And see, that's not good because he is the beatus. He's got the beatus.
I got the beatus.
We both got the beatus.
Yeah, you got I got the worst beatus than you, though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
My beatus haunts me. I got news for you. Guys.
Dan didn't have diabetes until he started doing these shows.
I started doing these shows. I would have stayed off of YouTube. I could eat whatever the fuck I wanted.
Oh, God,
Sweet loving Jesus. All right, guys. It's the Scream Stream right here on the DJB Productions Network. We'll catch you next time. We have another great episode coming up. So please like, subscribe, share the channel, share the episode. Have a great night, everybody. Ooh.
Bye.